Well, England have started well in their pursuit of 371, and one thing is for sure here, that day 5 promises to be an absolute crackerjack here. Well, Zach Crawley and Ben Duckett, they made sure that they saw through the last phase of day 4, the last 20 odd minutes, which are considered to be the most nervous here when you're chasing a stiff target. And at the end, England have made sure that they've countered the likes of Bumrah and Siraj. And on day 5, England, they need another 350 odd runs to go 1-0 up in the 5-match series. And for India, once again, all eyes will be on JASPRIT Bumrah.
Well, there's so much, and we've got, good thing about this show is we've got so much time to dwell on whatever that we've seen over the last 8-9 hours of cricket. I just want to know, what is it that in our minds we think of possible results from here? If you ask me, there's only 2 of them, but practically speaking, all doors are still open. Just want to know from the 2 of you, what is it that you guys look like as the number of possibilities? I'm not asking for what possibilities yet, but what are those possibilities? How many possibilities do you have in mind?
I'm tempted to believe in just one thing, and for one side.
Before that, I want to know India's effort in the 6 overs. 21 for 0. Jasprit Bumrah has bowled 3. Mohammad Siraj 2. Jadeja 1.
I would not really say that there were any changes in the field settings. They did not really try anything different so as to make sure that they could get a couple of wickets and head into day 5 with some kind of confidence. Because after what has happened in the last 1.5 to 2 hours or so, and now with England making sure that they build on the momentum, I think they are clearly the ones who have their noses ahead in this game. And with that said, for me,
you're saying that after the 21 for...
No, I'm saying that what has happened in the last couple of hours.
Yeah, but now I want to know 21 for 0. What does this tell you?
No extra effort from the Indian captain for that matter. You did not really try any adventurous field settings so that you can force a dismissal. The pitch is not really doing.
They had a deep point. He already spread the field out.
But I don't think so. There were no clear variations from any of the Indian bowlers. Also, you were sticking to your good length deliveries or the back of length deliveries, trying to swing it away or trying to swing it into Ben Duckett. But nothing major, because this is not the kind of pitch that it's a green track and you would consistently want to deliver your fuller balls. This is a kind of a pitch wherein you would want to try something different, a slower delivery, a knuckle ball or something like that, and see if things happen. But that wasn't really to be the case.
What does this 21 for no loss tell you?
In terms of India's effort, I think it was middling. I was honestly expecting a little more fire up their belly, but I thought it wasn't quite there as much as I would have liked to see it. They sort of take it, the fact that they didn't concede, let's say, runs at 5 and over or 6 and over, they'd be sort of relieved with that. Even though they conceded just about a little over 3 and over. But England would definitely have had that in mind. And I think India came prepared mentally for it, which is why they had that deep point and a couple of boundary riders. Who are ahead right now? I'm tempted to say it's the home team that's ahead right now.
What this 21 for no loss actually tells, though it's just the start of England innings, tomorrow is going to be a fresh day. See, one thing that you would be relying on if you're an Indian fan is the scoreboard pressure. And I think every time a team in the 4th innings has failed to chase down, there have been 2 contributing factors. 1, the scoreboard pressure, and 2, a deteriorating pitch, which you encounter when it's day 4, day 5, whenever. So these have been the 2 biggest factors why there are not many successful chases, especially not many successful chases beyond 300, because that's where the scoreboard pressure comes. Now, what this 21 for no loss tells me on both those factors: 1, the pitch is still a beauty to bat on. It seemed like that. There was no devil. There was nothing that really troubled the English batters as such. Of course, they had the use of the roller. They'll again get the use of the roller before the day starts on day 5 as well. And anyway, the pitch is not in a situation like that it's going to start crumbling after 1 hour of the use of roller. So first things first, the one factor that puts pressure on a team chasing is a poor pitch. fourth day, fifth day pitch. That's not happening. So that's not great news if you're an Indian fan. That's great news if you are an English fan. That's first. The second is the scoreboard pressure. Now that scoreboard pressure will remain. But what this 21-0 and the approach that I saw from both Crawley and Duckett, I did not see them under any sort of pressure. And that's what tends to happen. And especially when you're coming in a situation where you just have half an hour to bat, there's not much you can gain in this half an hour. Whatever will happen is the next day. But yes, you can lose a lot in this particular half an hour. And in that sense, what I saw from the English batters, they walk the talk when they keep saying that, they don't take the scoreboard pressure. They back themselves to chase anything. At least that's the approach that I saw from the English openers. It may work for them on the final day. It may not work for them on the final day. That's a different debate. But at least that's the approach. So this 21-0 tells me that if I had given England, 30% chance of winning let's say at the innings break, I will have to increase that to 40%. I'm not saying that's the percentage I'm giving, but I'm saying whatever was my opinion of England's chances of success in this test match have gone up by 10-15% after having seen the pitch as well as the two openers bat, and I think that's a telling sign. What happens tomorrow will be another thing. So that's the first bit of their batting. Let's now get to the Indian tailenders' effort, or should I say the lack of it?
I think that's been, for some reason, I'm not really able to understand what's the reason behind this collapse. At least, in the first innings, you can...
I'll explain the reason behind this.
Okay, at least in the first innings, you had some, poor shots by the likes of Gill, there was Thakur, and I think, who was the other? And even Karun Nair also for that matter. He was trying to play one shot too many. But this time around, I think this was just a tailor-made situation for them. You just needed to bat for about 1 or 1.5 more hours, get to a lead of about 450, and it would have been total pressure on this England cricket team. And for that matter, if their openers would have come out to bat in the last maybe 10-15 minutes or so with a target of about 420 or 430 even for that matter, they would have been under more pressure. I think that's where India would have been more fired up, and I did not really see anything of that sorts from the Indian fielders.
Do you think the poor show by the tailenders may have contributed to giving England confidence, their batters confidence, and may be a contributing factor in pulling the Indian bowlers down when they come out to bowl, because they know that they've let the team down with the bat?
Absolutely. And I'll just go back to that famous Lord's test of 2021. India were clearly struggling at about 158 or 160 odd for 6. And guess what, the other two batters did? Shami and JASPRIT Bumrah got those 50s, made sure that India got to a decent total, 60 overs, about 250 odd to get for England. And we all know what happened after that. That's where I think sometimes all these things can pull you up, because Shami and Bumrah, they got those runs, and that's where Kohli did the right thing by opening the bowling with both of them, rather than with Ishant Sharma and Shardul Thakur or any of the other bowlers that India had. But this time around, I think what the tail ender collapse has done is that it has dented India's confidence, and somehow it can be felt from their body language.
See, momentum matters in Test cricket, as we know, and the team, as we were speaking as well at the break, that had its tail up was the English team, and rightly so as well. If you're going to be picking 6 wickets at the loss of 31 runs or for 31 runs, then it is there for the home team to cherish that moment and believe that they've got momentum on their side. In fact, even if the target was another 10-20 runs more, I think if you're able to do that kind of a job with the ball and you come into bat with a few minutes to play or about half an hour to play, you're going to be your spirit's going to be up. And I think that's what England would have felt, and that's the ease with which they played as well for the 6 overs that they came out to bat. However, that being said, what explains the Indian tail is, let's go back to the previous test match that we all saw of importance, and that was the WTC final. We all saw what happened over there. Even though Australia lost, but we saw resilience from Hazelwood, right? And that's what you want to see. Pat Cummins and Hazelwood, if it wasn't for their stand, then Australia would have been down and out as well. But then what did you see? You saw resilience from them, and that's because they valued their wicket. They decided to spend time in the middle. What you didn't see from the Indian batters and the tail at that is them not valuing their wicket. It felt like, okay, since batters are not asked to bowl, bowler should not be asked to, put in a handy contribution with the bat as well. It felt like that. There was no intention to deliberately spend enough time and buy time. Forget runs. As I said at the break as well, that the idea should not have been to, just have runs on your mind. The idea should have been to ensure that momentum is broken and you buy some time into the test match so that you move closer to that territory where India losing the match is no longer a possibility. That should have been the idea. Ensure that you play as much as possible. But if you're going to let your guard down like that, if you're going to be of that mindset where you're going to be going for a wild hoiks and not taking your time and not ensuring that those breaks are put on the England bowlers, because okay, as bowlers, our responsibility is just going to, is there to go apply our craft with the ball and not with the bat. It's not going to work. You at times need to realize that there are 10 wickets for a reason, and you don't stop batting at number 7 like that in a test match. The other 4 are to realize their responsibility as well.
I think the point here is that an England team does not really have to get 350 runs. This is England's strongest suit. Their batting is the strongest suit in this series. And for them to get to 350 runs on a belter of a track in Leeds, I really have a feeling that it's going to be a cakewalk for them.
No, we'll get to that, what happens in the match. I'm still sticking to what the Indian tail did, and we'll have enough time to get into what we think is the obvious chance or what team needs to do. But the point is that did the Indian team or the Indian tail do a sort of disservice to the entire team as such, or where this test match could have headed? I think what they did in the first inning was a bigger cardinal mistake than the one that's happened in the second innings, because first innings, even better conditions, you were better placed. From there, I think a 600 looked pretty much a possibility. You just take that game, they've got 600 and England fall well short. I think India would have been ahead in all aspects of the game. We've spent the last 3 days just talking about how it's 50-50. Nobody's really ahead. I think that wouldn't have been the case. So from the very first day, you've been ahead. So I think the bigger mistake was committed in the first inning in terms of lack of contribution from the tail. But yeah, the worst crime has been committed by the tail in the approach that they showed today. So that's why, I'm not going to look at, I think 41 for 7, the number of runs really mattered in the larger scheme of things. 41 runs, 7 wickets down. 31 for 6 that they have lost this time. I'm not looking at 31 runs as an absolute number, because 31 runs may mean nothing. India might win by a margin of 50 runs also, you don't know. But the issue is the approach of the batters, or the lack of proper approach from the tail ending batters that you had. Everyone, and I'll start with Shardul Thakur. We have backed Shardul Thakur consistently for not being given enough overs. And on the same yardstick as we've backed him for not getting enough overs, he also needs to be criticized for not chipping in with the bat. Otherwise, there was no need then to have a bowling all-rounder. Then you might as well have played Kuldeep Yadav for that matter, or another fast bowler, if he's not going to contribute with the bat. So bowling he could not contribute, that's down to the captain, but batting he's not contributing is down to him. And as I said, if he got a Jaffer, if he got an outstanding delivery, I'd still give him that he's not a regular batter. Yeah. It was too good a delivery. Jimmy Anderson bowling, bowls one up, just holds it line. The angle is bringing it, holds it line, goes straight, takes his edge, he's out, fine. What can you do? Beauty. Could have gotten any batter. Poor shot by him. He began by showing some sort of resolve and then, fell into the temptation going for that shot. Poor shot by him. Poor shot by Mohammad Siraj, for all the memes that you see about him, loving his batting, asking for a bat from Virat Kohli and Viv Richards and whatever else I see. He needs to show a bit of that. Nothing with there. And at one point I felt, why is it that Jasprit Bumrah did not come ahead of a Siraj to bat? But then the way Jasprit Bumrah got out and the shot that he played, as much as we love him for his bowling, that was again a shot not required. He's such a responsible person. He speaks so sensibly. He bowls so sensibly. He's such a good head on his shoulder. That's the least of a shot that I expected from Jasprit Bumrah. And then Prasidh Krishna also getting out, holding one into the deep. So overall, I'm saying good balls you get out, it's fine. But here, if each of them contributed with 10 runs, that's another 40-50 runs added. We're sitting at 400 plus, which I think is next to impossible for any team to chase. 350s have been chased, 370s have been chased. Once you go past the 400 territory, then it almost becomes an impossible zone. And that's the difference, right? And that is the difference that the Indian bowlers could have done. And I'm really disappointed with them not showing application. Forget not getting runs, not showing application. That takes me to the next question, which I posed briefly in the innings gap, but won't now have enough time to dwell on it. The blessing in disguise question. Was it a blessing in disguise for India that the tail got out cheaply? Okay, because they wouldn't have declared at all. And now they get a full day's play, 90 overs, to attack England and possibly... I'm looking at... You can look at the glass half empty. You can look at the glass half full. One half empty is that you've given them enough overs to chase it down. The other glass full is that maybe now you have got enough overs to get them out, because had the tail not got out, India wouldn't have declared. India may have come in for another hour to bat tomorrow to get that 450 total to be safe. And then you would have left yourself with not enough overs to dismiss them. So the question is, could this be a blessing in disguise? What if the match goes on to the last half hour and India win with last 20 minutes or so, which wouldn't have been possible had they not been dismissed?
It's great that, if that can happen, I'm sure,
No, I'm asking. You
it's
can
going to
disagree.
please all the Indian fans. My point is that...
No, you don't have to please the Indian fans. You have to say,
No,
is
I
it a
never said
blessing
that,
in disguise?
it would please the Indian fans. I'm getting to what I think here. See, I would be tempted to believe in this theory that you have just put forward, that you can look at the glass as half empty or half full, could be a blessing in disguise. I can only look at the glass as half full if my bowlers are in form. And apart from Jasprit Bumrah, no one has shown form whatsoever, be it in the Border Gavaskar Trophy and now in the Leeds Test here. Siraj has been a workhorse, but we all know when he got those wickets in Australia, it was too late. The ship had already sailed. Now even in the late first innings also, England's batting innings wasn't really effective at all. Prasidh Krishna leaked a lot of runs. Once again, it has turned out to be the same contest. Bumrah versus Australia, then Bumrah versus England now. Nothing has changed, and that's why it's very difficult for me to see the glass as half full. I would have seen it if the bowlers would have shown some form, but that's not the case, and it is a belter of a track. Even if there would have been some kind of assistance for seamers or maybe some sharp turn for the spinner, then you can expect Ravindra Jadeja to at least get those useful wickets. But this time around, there is nothing that is actually offering me any hope apart from JB.
So no blessing in disguise. Curse in disguise for you.
Yeah.
I don't see there being any blessing here in this. Also, it's a...
when you will see it, in case the test match goes last half an hour and you need one wicket to win, it's such a close match, and yet you seal the match with 6 overs remaining, 5 overs remaining, and you win the test match there. Then when you look back, then this would have been a blessing in disguise.
I'm sure.
Because if your tail did not get out, and I'm not saying it's an ideal thing, I've criticized the tail for getting out. I think you needed to be in a safer position, get to 450 or so, and then be safe, because now you've left the door open. What happens with the door being open is, it also opens a door for you to win. And if you win at the last half hour, then you will realize that good the tailenders got out, at least I had a chance to finish off the game. Because had they not, and let's say you had them on the mat, you would curse yourself or rue the opportunity that I wish I had another 10 overs. I could have dismissed them. They were on the mat, 2 wickets in hand and some grinding it out.
And what if the match gets over a half an hour to go?
Then it's anyway not a blessing in disguise. Then it doesn't matter.
It's a... For the neutral, it's what a test match this has been. The pendulums just kept on swinging and swinging. At time it just got stuck in the middle and wasn't moving at all. But the way that it's moved today, it moved rapidly. I did enough turns today to ensure that we have a very exciting 5th day going forward. But speaking from an Indian cricket team's perspective, and what the fans would feel like, they'll have their heart in their mouth, because it's totally got to do with the conditions and the opposition. Will the opposition at home back themselves to go get the target? Absolutely yes. Do they have the confidence? After the first innings showed that they only fell 6 runs short of the Indian team's total. all the more reason. So home conditions, momentum with them, the confidence is with them. Is the Indian bowling team, barring a JASPRIT Bumrah, equipped enough to stop me? The answer to that is no. Are the conditions against me? No. Does it suit my template? Yes. So that's not one, not two, but multiple reasons for England to believe this is their win for the taking. As for India, I don't know what and I won't be surprised if at some stage after the first hour and a half, you see boundary riders all around. India could well be pushed into a position where the entire think tank, including a Bumrah, including your new captain and your vice captain, probably, the huddles would have happened, the instructions would have come then from Gautam Gambhir as well, that you can't afford to lose, and you have all these boundary riders planted, as was the case with Jadeja when he got the tail enders right towards the end. So I definitely think England are going to be coming out hard at India tomorrow, and I won't be surprised at all if India are then on the brink trying to save this match with boundary riders all around.
If you had to rank, which is what we did yesterday, and Siddharth here had put India win number 1, I remember. I disagreed with him, but he put India win number 1 and draw 2 or England win 2.
England 2 and
draw 3. So now if you were to rank in order of probability, and I'm eliminating tie and other results that Siddharth here mentions, I'm only keeping the 3 conventional results in our debate: England win, India win, and a draw. And by the way, that in itself is a great testament to Test cricket and a good advertisement for Test cricket, that here we are sitting at the end of day 4, looking ahead to day 5, and we still have all the 3 or all the 4 or all the 5 results possible. We're talking about that itself tells you that it's been a fantastic Test match so far. So now if you had to rank them in the order of probability, what is your ranking order?
So yesterday I had India winning 40%, England 35%, and draw was 25%.
Percentage, I don't care. In terms
I'm saying that, it's going to be a straight swap for me. 2 goes to 1, 1 goes to 2. England win, but the percentage of England winning is 60%.
60%?
Yes. India.
So pretty much England's won for you.
Yeah. India 35%, and 5% I'm only giving a chance to a draw because there is some weather around tomorrow. And that can only save India. That's the only thing that can save India.
So pretty much, so then there is no chance of an India win. Why did you even have to give 35%?
No, at least, 350, you get a couple of wickets tomorrow early morning.
Rain is the only thing that can save India. That means they have...
Largely.
Okay. Go ahead.
Option 1, 2, 3 for me are England win, England win, England win. Kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not going with that.
England win is first, nah?
England win is first for me. In order, I'll go England win first. Then maybe a draw, and third I will say an India win.
I think draw should not even be a part of this discussion. It's either England win or India win.
Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
My first option, the probability of something happening, the highest is a draw. Highest is a draw, because if there is a 50% chance of rain, and if that is affecting, even if that takes...
No, but that's keeping the rain thing aside. That's what even I also
Look at
predicted.
I gave my prediction.
No. Usually we keep the rain aside, nah?
No, but I'm just saying that was like a 10% chance or whatever. You don't know.
No, but let's go with...
I think a 50% chance is a lot of rain.
No,
I
but
can't keep
assuming there is no rain.
No. 50%
Then we go to redo predictions.
Is a 50% chance of rain.
Then we have to redo the predictions.
So I'm saying 50% chance of if the weather department has said that there is a 50% chance, and till now we've not got that kind of rate. 50% area covered in rain would mean, at least, and this is no exact science, but I'm guessing may take about 2 hours odd, which is a session away, and that is why I am saying that draw is the number 1 probability, because you will not get your full 90 overs.
So we are taking the rain thing this time around in discussion. Usually it is not a part of the discussion. Usually not.
Keeping just 90 overs in mind.
Yeah.
Or play till 11
but
o'clock.
if I'm being told that 90 overs are not possible, just take a look at that. Just show me Arley. You're on Arley now. Come on, go down.
Down, down, down.
Yeah. Keep going. Okay, see this. 6 a.m. it's raining. 7 a.m. it's not. Keep going down. 8 a.m. it's not. 9 a.m. it's raining. 10 a.m. it's raining. 11 it stops. 12 it stops. No, go down.
It's almost 40% chances of precipitation.
So there is there is only rain for a couple of hours. You just go on top. There is rain at 9 a.m., 10 a.m.
No, but there is also 55% chances of precipitation. Nah?
Yeah, but go down. So I'm just looking at in terms
down.
Keep going down.
5, 6.
Yeah, so 5, 6 leave it. 9 a.m., 10 a.m. go more. Then there is no more rain, right?
But what about 37% there?
That doesn't matter. So you see the cloud cover there. Learn to see the thing. There's a more chance of rain happening there. 37% is the area that will be covered.
But 37, but that can be anything.
Yeah, but
the whole of the ground can come in that 37%.
No, it evens out. So how do you know exactly? Then that 40%, maybe 0% of it be 40.
Yeah.
So then you can't make it. That's why you take a look at the left thing which suggests that will you have or not. Again, it's not an exact science. So if it is 2 hours of rain interruption, 2 hours are taken away. What right now the weather is 2 hours taken away, then I'm putting draw.
Gone.
The session gone. So I'm putting draw number 1. That's why I put draw number 1. No.
So let's say England have to chase 350 odd in 60 overs. Then who do you predict as your winners?
Draw.
350 in 60 overs.
Draw.
Okay.
Yeah, 350 in 60 overs.
Yes, draw. That's what I'm saying. It is if you're going to have 60, 70 overs. I'm putting draw as number 1 because there are other ways of stemming the flow of runs. If you're an opposition and you think now it's reached a situation where stemming the flow of runs, you resort to different tactics. It's not a one-day game where everything will be looked at. So I am going for the only way you can score fast is when the opposition is also in the game. They're trying to pick wickets, and in that fight, then you can score big. So if it is 2 hours taken away, as the weather app is suggesting that Shivam has shown us, I'm putting draw as number 1. Okay. But for your argument, assuming it is not affected at all and you get 90 overs. If you're getting 90 overs, how many more runs?
350. 5 runs per over.
They need 5 and over.
About 4 and over. 4 and over, yeah. 4.
Yeah. 4 and over gets them 360 more runs. So
percentage of chances, I'm going to give 4 and over is not that tough. So, draw is not. If it is raining, then draw is my number 1 chance, I've told you. But I'm only giving this prediction basis there's no rain at all. And you get full quota of 90 overs. Then I'm going first option, India win. Okay.
First option.
Yeah, I don't think that chasing 3, as I told you earlier, it happens once in 10 matches. A team chases 350 plus. Once in 10 matches. It's not that England can't do it. They did it against India in Birmingham when you went back to play that test match. They've done it at this very ground. We've seen South Africa pull off a stunning chase at WTC. So I know there are enough examples. I know South Africa have done it against India in South Africa. 2 matches in a row, good chases. But I still think 350, and I know it's a very good pitch to bat on. And I told you that this 21 also tells me that England are really up for it. They are in a very aggressive approach. But I think it's marginal. If it's not raining, then I'm not going for a draw. So I'm going 55-45 in India's favor.
There's no third result for you?
No, if it's no rain, 90 overs, then there'll be no draw, no? I'm going with your logic of saying that 90 overs, then it's not going to be a draw. Both teams that way, it's not 4 and over. See, with a 5 plus, I would have still thought of a draw. At 4 and over, the way England play, either they'll win it or they'll commit harakiri and allow you to win it. There will be no... there could be. I mean, I'll leave. Let's say, okay, just in case they're in a bit of a bother, they're 8 down and they can't chase it, and then the last tail enders bat for 2 hours.
Hour or so.
In that rare scenario, I'll say okay, 5% to that draw, assuming there is no rain. Otherwise, with rain, I've put draw as number 1. No rain. 5% for a draw. That leaves you with 95%. So I will give 50
So you're
for
going,
an India win
you're going 50, 45, 5.
and 45
To England
for an
and
England
5.
win and 5 then for a
Like, I have a question here that
Draw.
why do you like, are really having India as your favorites, knowing that apart from Bumrah, the bowling attack has been completely toothless?
Good question. I just gave two reasons. One, no matter what the situation, no matter what the pitch, no matter what the bowling attack, in the history of Test cricket, it seldom happens.
Okay.
And there's a reason for it. There is a reason for it, that it's a mountain to climb, and it's not easy for any team to do it. And you can go back into time immemorial where there would have been even weaker attacks than that. Plus, you may count India as a weak attack, but there is Jasprit Bumrah. Na? I have to count him as well. I cannot. You're not playing the match without a Jasprit Bumrah. How can I take the Jasprit Bumrah factor away?
But AajTak he is going to deliver about 15 or 20 odd overs, and I can understand that he can actually change the complexion of the match in those 15 overs. But then, what do you expect from the other bowlers?
Others will have to contribute. Now, I don't think England has the best bowling attack. No, they managed to pick 20 wickets.
Because they have been street smart, but that cannot be said about the Indian bowlers.
No, I don't think so. I think Prasidh Krishna was not bad in the bowling that he did. I think Jadeja was unlucky on a few occasions where he was
two catches dropped off
So
him.
then there were a few catches dropped. I'm not expecting all of that to happen. And there's Jasprit Bumrah. I'm not going to ignore it. And I'll tell you one more reason. First innings, I thought that India were a far more well-assured batting lineup than England were. I thought England's inning was far more streaky and uncertain. So that also told me that on the count of batting, India looked better. Whether it is down to the bowling or whether it's the capability of the batting, I thought India was better. Even today, now let me put it this way. Indian fans are also nervous. Na? This could get out, that could get out. It has taken two outstanding innings by KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant to put you in a position like that. Sure, there are England batters like Joe Root, a Ben Duckett, a Ben Stokes, Ollie Pope. One of them can put their hand up, but they need to. Two of their batters will also need to put their hand up, chasing that. So, as I said, these are all assumptions, and there is a reputation with England come, and we all expect them to chase it down. But if I had to do a probability, then there are more, and forget India, take England out, take everything. There are more chances of a team that's set a total in excess of 350 to win a test match than the team that's chasing it. So just basis on that, I'll pick an India win.
Why it sort of takes me away from believing that England can't do it, because I really...
They can, that's why I've given them 40%.
Yeah,
but you asked me which is the more likely
agreed.
option.
Because, or in terms of why, for me, it becomes like a little more obvious or a straightforward answer, is because I don't see them getting troubled right now. What is it? So if you're going by convention, because you're absolutely right that in so many years of Test cricket history, there have been very few successful chases of 300 plus, forget 350 plus. There were very far and few between. But when I look at this pitch, forget the Indian bowling attack as well. What is it? Because conventionally we've seen every surface have certain attributes. Be it the Firozshah Kotla, be it in Chennai, be it, forget Ahmedabad of late, but otherwise you look at Kolkata, you know what to expect from a pitch. Let's say there'll be some, or if you're going at Lords, let's say last day, you'll get some sort of swing even then. Firozshah Kotla, it'll be slow and low that day. Chennai, Kolkata, it'll turn. The pitch is now completely broken down. So that's when you believe that, it's not going to be easy getting even 250 runs on last day on those tricky tracks. Here I don't see any disturbance at all. What is it that puts off a batting team right now?
But even in those history, the flat pitches also teams have struggled. There is a
but the England of right now and the England of flat tracks that they are.
The England of right now fell short by 6 runs versus India. That England of right now could have very well fallen 100 or 150 runs short of India had they held on to their catches. So I don't see this England team. I mean, they're a very good team and they will chase totals down. They have. But I'm not sure that they are the Australia and the West Indies of 70s and Australia of the 2000s.
Absolutely not.
So they're not.
That's not a fair comparison at all. Yeah.
No, but the way you guys are saying it as if it's a done deal that they will.
The only reason why we are saying it's because it's a flat deck. And the bowlers have, put on those disappointing performances, the Indian bowlers. That's the only thing, and that's why it's difficult to look at the glass as half full.
No, that's fine. But I'm also saying that when you look at the entire history of cricket, which I spoke about, there have been occasions where flat pitches teams
Yeah.
have not been able to chase. So I don't know. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong or what I'm saying is right or whatever. It's just two different ways of looking at a game, and there is no 100% certain way of finding out. For example, in your case itself, you just till yesterday it gave you hope that India will be winning the test match. It's
I put
changed,
India
right?
slightly ahead.
Yeah, so it's changed for you in one day, right? So that obviously you didn't think of this English batting lineup as superior all throughout. It's just now that you feel like that. So I mean, things can change, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about the two positives for India: KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant. What do these knocks do?
Stop fretting, maybe.
What do these two knocks do for
monkey is
them?
off the back for KL Rahul. That 3-figure score that had actually eluded him in the last about 15 odd test matches or so.
His last 100 was Centurion.
Yeah, Centurion. After that, he played one match against South Africa, one against England. After that, he missed the 4 matches, 2 against Bangladesh, 2 against New Zealand, and 5 BGT. So about after 11 matches, he has gotten 100. In between, there have been a couple of 50+ scores, but it's great to see him score, another 100. There's a reason why he's called a Senna beast. Has 6 to 700s out of his 9 in Senna conditions, and I think with him being there and playing the anchor role, this is something that the Indian team would need going forward, because now he is your senior most batter. He is going to be playing the role that maybe someone like a Rahul Dravid did for India, for a good 10-12 years or so, even more than that. For KL Rahul, he may not really have
High
that
praise, yeah. Rahul Dravid, you're comparing.
No, what I'm saying is that this team
2
actually
series ago he was dropped. He was sitting out.
this team actually lacks an anchor. And if India are to become a force once again in Test cricket, then KL Rahul has to be at the center of all of it. So that's where all the rebuilding has to be done, because you would need someone who can, score about 50 odd runs of 60-65 balls, or maybe 100 of 120 balls. And you would also need someone like a KL Rahul who can score 100 of 200 balls.
I think the signs were there in the first innings itself. For those 42 odd runs that he scored, look at all those cover drives, and we were raving about it, while it was his partner at the other end in Jaiswal who got 100 and eventually got more runs. But that when we were talking about India's foundation being laid for that 400 plus total in the first innings, KL Rahul, on day one you're being asked as the visiting team to chase. You're the senior pro. Now suddenly there's a vacuum in the side in terms of senior position holders. All eyes are on you. You've been constantly in and out of the side. You've suddenly become this responsible figure, or at least you've now started being looked at as a responsible figure, because all around you are people with 10, 20 matches. That's it, a couple of debutants around you, and those with maiden call-ups. So suddenly the responsibility quotients increase, and you looked very good in the first innings. You got out to a perhaps minor lapse of concentration, but for those 42 runs, he looked well in control. And speaking of control, I mentioned, and he was 92% in control of all the shots that he played today.
And you also explained how that 8% got reduced. 6% was the drop catch, and 2% for that ball.
That ball that
Bashir
jacked back in from Bashir.
That's it. Otherwise, 92% in.
He was, and it was good to see.
So that's a phenomenal stat, to be in control of an inning for 92%.
I was very tempted to see, because he batted a long time alongside a Rishabh Pant who was far more streaky, but also got to his 100 almost around the same time that he did. So I was just very tempted. I just could not check his stat for control percentage. But India needs him more than it ever has, as it's a team in transition. KL Rahul has to be at the very heart and nucleus of this side. I just hope, I wish him all the very best, and delightful what we saw from him today. The control, I think one thing you need to remember, Centurion as well, you really needed him to step up, because none of the other batters were scoring runs. Yes, Virat was good on that tour, but he didn't get to a 3-digit score. However, KL Rahul, especially when you're going away from home, the control that he exhibited today is something that should give him a whole lot of confidence.
I mean, he's frustrated me a lot over the years because of the talent that you see in him, and then you expect him to be I wouldn't go so far as to compare him to Rahul Dravid as Siddharth did, but I mean, he had the talent. He looked so good. He had the temperament, and then you would get so amazing hundreds, and then you would wonder where is he gone, averaging less than 35, and playing for India, and that criticism came his way, and then he would be dropped. And I think it was right also to drop him at that time. He wasn't consistent despite the fact that he was getting hundreds in Senna. But for a man who's got 6 out of his 900 in Senna condition, that tells you a lot about his technique and temperament. Yeah. He's only underperformed, but I have a feeling that this is really a turning of a corner for him. I feel from here on he'll have a good... See, he's no spring chicken. He's in his early 30s. So at best 3, 4 or 5 more years that he can be at his peak when it comes to batsmanship. So I think this will be that phase, which is something he never had previous to this. This will be the phase where he'll get the backing. This will be a phase where he'll get a consistent run. It'll all be down to him because he'll need to get consistency. And that is the one thing that was missing. He always had the talent, the strokes and everything. I think he will now turn a corner. He'll get you runs consistently. And that will allow him then to be a regular part of this Indian test team and not be the guy who gets picked, gets 100, then 4 or 5 failures, then gets dropped. That won't happen. So it's a turning of a corner for him. I think this series, we'll find out at the end of the series. And then for Rishabh Pant, what do you say? I mean, the man, he's already, by the way, as we mentioned earlier, for those of you who didn't hear, the first wicket-keeper batter in history to get 100 in each inning of an overseas test match. No other wicketkeeper batter before him in the history of test cricket has done it. The only other wicketkeeper batter who did it was Andy Flower, but he did it at home. No one has done it overseas. That itself tells you what Rishabh Pant is capable of, what he can do. I don't know how many times I've said it, but we'll say it again. For me, the best test batter that you have at the moment. Once again, we saw a different version of him at one point where shots were not coming, was ready to bide his time. The only different thing we didn't see, no celebration he did for us, the cartwheel. But Harshit also explained why he didn't do it, because he got hit many times on his thigh and he says, "Suja diya hai." So suj gaya tha, so he did.
Pretty sure he would have been told by the advisors, medical advisors, that listen, you can't afford to give that knee further jolts like that.
Yeah, you've already had a ligament surgery.
Yeah, so
career threatening.
Despite Mr. Gavaskar's repeated request, he said, "Baad."
He kept at it. Mr. Gavaskar really wanted to see that somersault again.
No, but outstanding knock again. One, as we've said, that every time he's batting, you just want to be there. The other is, how he ends up picking up occasions, the right occasions.
To do it.
Yeah. All the time, look at his knocks, big knocks. It was when the teams really needed it. When they've been down and they require a big innings. Today was that day. Him and KL Rahul, that partnership, because you've lost Gill pretty early in the day, that partnership doesn't happen. You're not looking at 350 plus, you're looking at 280, 260, and then we're not even having a debate who's winning the test match. Yeah, seriously. So it's the occasion.
The only debate is that when is the match getting finished? 2 sessions, 2.5, less.
What he tells you is when there are results to back such an unorthodox approach, and maybe it's, if you want to be part of the Indian team as a wicketkeeper batter, be unorthodox. I think that's the thing with him. MS Dhoni, all these guys, what they've done is...
Jurel will disagree, yeah.
Jurel will disagree, but
he's then he's not textbook cricket he played against England.
That's why he's not making the team right now. But jokes aside, see, you got to take it. I think whatever times that we go on and criticize him in the future as well, Rishabh Pant, and the way that he gets his runs, it can't be like, you criticize him for the same thing that is... that works out like magic the other day. You then really need to then accept the way the things are. You can't question the method when the results are good. You don't do that. So when that method doesn't work out on a bad day for you, we need to be cautious, because otherwise I think we will be unfair to the guy. What his achievements have been as a wicketkeeper batter in Test cricket especially, and you must note that down again and again before people clip things out and misunderstand things. In Test cricket, he's been one of the gifts to Indian cricket that ways. Yeah, his approach, the way that he gets those runs, you got to salute the guy.
Yeah.
For the way that he does it. I still don't fully understand. I'll be very honest. These two innings I saw very closely, trying to see where is it that the match situation is. How is it that he's looking at being the aggressor? How is it that he's not getting tempted? There were shades of that in the first innings. Second innings, it came on much later. That aggression to his innings.
Just a bit. There's news coming in that former India cricketer
Dilip Doshi,
Yeah,
he
I
is
just
no
saw
more, yeah.
that he's passed away. He played 30-odd Test match. I remember left arm spinner he used to be. The interesting bit about him, I always remember one of those. I think the only Indian cricketer to play Test cricket after 30. So made his debut. After 30, but still went on to pick more than 100 wickets. So imagine that. Many thought that he could have gotten a longer run, have had the captains backed him.
Interviewed him once in 2018.
Yeah.
Very nice guy to
Very,
speak
very
with.
nice. I've
Very
even
nice
met
guy.
him. I've
Yeah.
met him a few times in England. But just getting that news, that's unfortunate. I guess there's a good chance that the team will be wearing a black armband.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm. Okay. Sorry.
The Rishabh Pant thing that we was discussing, it's kind of surprising that he hasn't really been able to replicate his heroics in the white ball formats. But I think with the unpredictability factor that Rishabh Pant now has in his batting, that he's surprising the opposition, that whenever they think he's going to score, he's going to play his shots, he's just biding his time, and then after a gap of say 7-8 overs, he's playing his shots. So he has that surprise factor now, and I think maybe it has come with the maturity of being one of the leaders within the team. Great that he has gotten past 250 odd runs in just one test match here. I think we are probably looking at a great series for him.
What we saw from him in both the innings, and look at how the second innings was different from him than the first. First innings, he hits that 6 and gets to the 3-digit mark, right? So the expectation was that again Bashir was there and he's going to be trying to clear the boundary again. But time and again, there were so many deliveries that he left that were outside the off stump. At times, a little dangerously, that he was leaving all those balls as well. Because one I remember from route almost went through the gate. But what he showed and the message that he was trying to give was that he now knows that the opposition is trying to give him that bait. So he will not just take it the first time and the second time and the third time that it's offered to him. He will choose his moment when to go for it. And that's what I liked from him this time. He knew that this is going to be the plan from Ben Stokes, that he will try and give him that bait, especially when he's closer to a personal milestone. But he didn't fall for it, and was very calculative in when to go out for the maximum and when to we saw he just tucked it away and then got to his 100.
Could there be one criticism about Pant today, that he got out the way he did at that moment? And I tell you why. Because after that your tail comes in, and knowing the way your tail is, it's done it previously. I'm just saying, should he have been the player who put the match to bed, which we all
I'll tell you why.
him?
I felt that approach was fine, especially after you got to your 100. The team's in a good position. You've almost done the entire session where you didn't lose.
But your tail is.
Yeah, I'm saying I've done my
nothing.
bit. I've done my bit, and my bit is not to score 100. My bit is to, in the process of getting that 100, the larger cause was ensuring that from India to go from 200 to 300. I've done that. We've got an entire session without losing a wicket. Now this is for me, because I've got that explosive ability, give my team a chance to get those quick runs and try and force an India win over here. And how many batters can be given that responsibility with a session left to go out there, play run a ball or a little more than that? It has to be then the most explosive batter in the ranks, and it was him. So I'm pretty sure he was given the license as well to go out there and express himself even more after he got to that 100, because there were wickets. If you're going to be telling a batter that there's 5 batters after you whom we can't trust at all,
you can't trust them. But I agree with you. You can't expect him to do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
their
the point.
incompetence should not be
hamper
a burden
him.
on Rishabh.
And he's done his bit. You whatever now. So that is in search of a bonus then that I'm expecting from a batter. You get me those bonus runs. Get me those runs at a click that perhaps would brings forward the declaration for me, makes that declaration, give me that option of giving of putting England into bat sooner and increase my chances. While I've gotten all those runs as well, it gives me enough time also to go and get their 10 wickets as well, and that had to be him.
Okay. Before we take the questions, a word on Karun Nair. Now we've seen both his innings.
Disappointing. It's
there is a lot of chatter. Would you?
I think he showed some intent in the second innings, but it's still one match. You know, the same thing we discussed about Sai Sudarshan also. I really hope that irrespective of the result of this match, persist with the same batting lineup that you have. Yes, there have been a couple of collapses, consecutive collapses. You need to have a discussion about it as to who needs to play that anchor role when you lose 2 or 3 wickets in succession, who needs to take more responsibility. I think these things need to be improved upon. But, as I said, this is a team in transition, and the last thing that you would want to do after this test, irrespective of, what happens tomorrow, is make some changes. Stick with the same team, stick with the same set of players, and with that said, stick with Karun Nair, give him a few more chances.
I don't think you're looking at going past him already, but the one thing I felt was a little disappointing from him in both his dismissals was the fact that both the times he played the ball in the air, and I don't expect
soft dismissals.
Very soft dismissals. See, it was a blinder of a catch.
Yeah, the first one was a blinder of a, but that shot was to play.
The shot was to play, but again, you expect for somebody so conventional and so rooted in domestic cricket to have still had the ability to put the ball on the ground and not sky it or the way that he did. He didn't sky it a lot, but today as well, it was a foolish delivery. Again, a very soft dismissal where you expect guys to have played so much of domestic cricket to have played it with softer hands, and I know he was probably looking for that drive as well to go straight down the ground, but better execution was needed. Were both of those wicket taking deliveries? No. And that's where I was disappointed, since both of them came when he middled the ball, but it was just perhaps the wrong shot, and he found the fielder. In today's case, it was the bowler. So you can't be playing it right down to the very soft for somebody so good.
I'm not going to pass any judgment on him. I think it's just one test match. He's spent 7 years away, working hard, done the hard yards to reach here. He needs minimum of 3 test matches. Everyone needs that too.
Correct.
See if he's good.
Anything that we've gotten to know about his 30 or 40 second stay after that dismissal in the middle?
Nothing. He was disappointed. But I don't know if somebody knows. I heard a lady commentator on at that time from Sky, I think she was on, and she said he's standing there for longer than his innings lasted.
That's nasty. And
that was very nasty.
For.
And I don't know. She's made a couple of other very nasty comments. I forget those comments. And I was wondering at that time also, who is this commentator? She's made a few more nasty comments.
Not like he got out on a pair.
Exactly. So they
I would have understood then. That being a hyperbole.
Fine. He just looked at the pitch and he was a bit disappointed with himself having played that shot. That comment was really.
It's misplaced then.
Yeah, and the same comment, she's passed a couple of other rude comments before. It slips out of my mind what she said. I probably should have written it down, but at that moment I thought that this is uncalled for. So, anyway, let's dive into our questions, please. Vijeta says, I can only say if he's on the ball. Today he's not even open date, not even ready for it, not even...
Who remembers Oval 2021 test under Virat Kohli? India defended lesser. There were about, I think, 350 or 360 odd that India had to defend, but a different bowling attack. You had an informed Shami, Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav was breathing fire at that time. A different bowling attack. This time around, I think, as we also said at the beginning of the discussion, this is not the Indian bowling attack versus
we all didn't say, you too.
At least I said one thing, I can speak for myself, that I was very bullish on the fact that it's going to be Bumrah versus England batting, but yeah, if your bowlers would have been informed, things would have been different for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Valid point. I still think you may be adding this test match also to that list.
Never say never.
No, the tough job is for England to do right now. You have to score runs, sir. Whatever, sir. If it's India in this position, I would have said the same thing. For India, we were discussing yesterday, if somebody pointed out, 2 wickets gone, you will have an issue. You can say the same for England as well. Never know.
Afaq Ahmed Baksh has a comment. India 30-40 run short. England would have gone for the win even if the target was 450, and some chances could have been created for India. Unfortunately, with their bowling, they are chasing this safely without any risk.
With our bowling, they are chasing this safely without risk, is what Fak is saying. But I mean, this whole thing about England will chase 450. England said the same when they came to India also. We will chase anything, we'll chase 450.
They said 400.
So what was the scoreline at the end?
4-1.
And that too because of Holy Pope's brilliance in the second innings.
What you say and what you do is two big things. I've given them credit for when they have done well. I pointed out those test match, but it does not happen all the time. We'll see. I still have put India marginally ahead. Not to say that England don't have a chance. It's just a marginal gap. But 450, by the way, if it was 450, I would have seen how they chase 450 down. बोलने को क्या जाता है? I can chase 500.
How much can you walk
I can
that
fly.
talk,
I can
etc.
do whatever.
Jaspreet Singh.
But he makes a valid point about our bowling, which I think Siddharth has also spoken about. Fak also doesn't have a lot of faith
Some
in our
form that even if
bowling.
you would have seen from other couple of bowlers, I would have definitely put India ahead in this match. Then.
Jaspreet Singh says that Shami ki yaad aa rahi hogi.
But again, Jasbir, Shami ki yaad we had before the series started when the selection is. That's what I'm saying. Not saying it in hindsight, not saying it after the event has happened. Rishabh Pant should have been made captain, was said before. You should have not played Sai Sudarshan so early in the team. You should have had Shami in the team. You should have not discarded Sarfraz without giving him a fair run. We said all this at that time. Most of those things are coming true. But Shami should have been there, I agree. But now he's not there. Make do with what you have.
Yeah.
You make exceptions for some players now who are good players that will manage your fitness, will bowl here, will bowl there. We do that. You could have done that for Shami also. I think it's that valuable.
Of course. Sharan says that Siraj never learns. I think if India doesn't get a new ball bowler who supports Bumrah, it will be curtains for India in this series.
See, you've got backups. I think if it really doesn't work out going forward, and if let's say England chase it down, then I'm sure you'll be scratching your head. I think Kuldeep Yadav is the other wicket taker. You have to look at him, bringing him into the 11. How you do it, I don't know. And then if you really need to change fast bowling, you've taken your next best in line in an Arshdeep and an Akashdeep and a Harshit Rana, whoever. So you will look at bringing them in if the bowling attack remains as toothless as it was in the first innings. But let's remember, the series just getting started. So let's see. Just as we don't want to pass a judgment on a Sai Sudarshan and a Karun Nair, I think.
I love mutton biryani has a comment. Indian tailenders are the worst. Nikhil is right. What were they doing? Hopefully Gautam Gambhir will talk to them. Still backing India to win. Brook is going to be the key wicket.
So long as you don't bowl a no ball.
For me, it's Joe
Or
Root.
you don't drop him in the gully.
Root as well.
I think if there are two England batters, like we all can name them, who can actually take the game away from
Okay,
India.
you have a pick two English batters get out cheaply.
Two English batters will get out cheaply. Zach Crawley.
No. I'm giving you a wish. You can pick the two England batters who can get out cheaply.
Okay.
You've got a Vardhan. You can pick.
If that happens, I think then it's going to be advantage India.
Who are those
Pick the two.
Ben Duckett and Joe Root.
Ben Duckett and Joe Root.
Yeah.
Good choices.
I did not really have to think twice. These are the two batters who can take the game away from India.
I'm going one Duckett because he can really set the tone.
I agree.
Do you go with Joe Root? Because he's going with Root, I can ask. So let's get 6 batters out. Na that way.
No. Only one person's wish will come true. So 2.
But the other
Anyway, you picked Duckett, it's the same. So now you won't get 6.
5 then. But then
I challenge you to pick Zach Raleigh.
I'll go. No, Zach Raleigh, he'll give his wicket. That's fine. But I'll go with Ben Stokes then. Man
Ben
for
Stokes.
big occasions, yeah.
Good one. If I had to get 2, yeah, I'll go Root and
Stokes.
Stokes.
Root and
No,
Stokes.
Because pressure game, big game, I'm going to trust the old war horses. Like,
But Ben Stokes is not the same old batter.
I know, but see,
Yeah.
big game, no, he's a big player. So on
Clutch
big
guy.
occasion, clutch guys, that's why. I know if it was not a real clutch sort of a situation, if it was first innings, I probably wouldn't have picked him as my highest run getter because the situation is such. He's a gritty sort of a guy, enjoys competition, and he's done it at the same ground famously, 2018. One of the finest test knocks ever.
Also,
In fact, it got voted the best test knock
Yeah.
of the decade, if I'm not mistaken.
135.
Yeah, though I disagreed with it. I don't think there was the best test knock of that year also. That went to
Sri Lanka.
Mendes. What a
That
knock.
was- yeah.
That Kusal Pereira.
Pereira, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when he smashed Dale Steyn.
151,
3.
153.
Yeah.
153. That.
That I think was the end of Dale Steyn, the test bowler. Yeah, that was it for him.
Yeah, that was.
There was some knock, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And there was-
I remember it being outvoted, yes.
Because again, must be English.
Exactly what we were talking about earlier.
Voted for it.
No, see, between the two knocks, I must say, as much as we sing praises about that England match or recall that England, I think it was just better marketed than that Sri Lanka match.
That
It's
is
down
the
to
thing.
that.
This is where the biases come.
Yeah, it's just better
It's
marketed.
happening in England.
See, it will come on Prime
England,
Video,
Australia.
some back behind the
Ah.
BTS will come. Sri Lankan cricket, it's in the archives.
And in that sense, too high profile, like England, Australia. And South Africa also gets pushed to the back burner when it comes to the glamour of cricket. So,
it was just not marketed enough.
yeah.
It didn't have to be.
Though the match, that was tougher conditions, here was a batting paradise when Stokes chased it down. There he had batted with tailenders, by the way.
The wicket had actually eased out after England. They were bundled out for 67. It just became pretty easy for batting.
Yeah. And there, Kusal Pereira batted with the tail to get those runs. I think number 9 or someone was batting with him when he got. Stokes still had decent
Vishwa
enough,
Fernando.
See, but
batters.
in terms of drama, that match had a lot of drama. Headingley.
Marketed drama was
I
even
agree.
the Sri Lanka
See,
match had a lot
there
of
were
drama.
a lot of that Nathan Lyon run out had it happened.
Nathan Lyon, LBW also.
LBW also. Then them wasting the review. There was so much happening in that match. Anyway, we can move forward.
Dark Knight.
After being
Rises.
dropped from white ball cricket, Siraj is now walking tightrope in red ball too. This series will decide whether he'll be shown the exit door or not.
True.
Yeah.
I think not only the series, I think if his performance like this continues, maybe at another test match at best, I guess. Before
See, you
drop
can't,
him.
like, for 2 big series, you can't go missing.
Yeah. The only thing that may come to his rescue, despite not having a great test match, is Jasprit Bumrah resting also.
Yeah, we experience.
Then he'll be the spearhead of the attack. Yeah, that's the point.
Unless you go with an Arshdeep, Prasid, then Akashdeep, that sort of a ball. Shardul also not giving him any overs, so you will then, if you need 4 fast bowlers, what do you do? And Siraj
But if, Siraj, if he fails today, and obviously the new day has begun, I expect a major role for Arshdeep Singh in this series. If Siraj fails today, I think I'm probably seeing Arshdeep playing 3 of the remaining 4 matches then.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that also will depend on his performance. No?
That's why I'm saying that today is, in the next 24 hours, we'll know.
Arshdeep's performance.
I think irrespective of that, he'll get a go. I'm sure.
No,
Arshdeep
don't be
will.
so sure. There's so much confusion over fast bowlers. They play one game, Akashdeep plays, then doesn't play. Harshit Rana plays one, then drop, then comes when another time. Don't know.
Merry-go-round.
Unless you're Jasprit Bumrah, you are guaranteed. Everyone else, it's one per test match. You're judging them.
Bumrah's, Bumrah's rise or maybe Bumrah's peak is actually coinciding with a transition of an Indian bowling that's not turning out to be good. You've heard that before. Sachin
True.
Tendulkar. When he was out, then you would switch off the TV. If Bumrah is not here, then
The good thing with bowling is you can't switch off the TV because he can come out to bowl.
Who do you trust?
Match is not playing, he's rested. What do you do? Only watch India bat.
Ashish there has a comment. Arshdeep and Kuldeep ahead of Prasidh and Shardul. Let's wait for the next 24 hours and then let's see what happens.
We'll have enough time. There's a big gap this time. The first two test matches. To talk this only we'll do every day.
Yeah.
So
Someday batting, someday bowling.
Someday collapse.
One day it's fixed. We'll make the 11.
Afaq is back.
KL and Pant scoring centuries with both being in the 11 is a rare treat to watch. Can't imagine that in any other format. Can just hope to see it in ODIs, but Pant is not really a sure shot starter in ODIs, and I think you already have a pretty good batting lineup and even middle order options, and with the rise of Akshar Patel, the batter in ODIs, I think that has made even things tougher for Rishabh Pant to force his way back into the ODIs, because Akshar Patel is also now batting up the order, so that's the thing.
T20 also, Rishabh will find it very tough.
Yeah, you already have
He's
Sanju,
already behind.
KL, Jitesh, there are many other options. Shubham Garg has a comment. England have chased 300 plus target once post 2000. He's taking a dig at me that I'm giving 60% to England. Seems like England media is successful in selling baseball to our analysts. But
I'll tell you, I agree with Shubham Garg about not our analysts, but that English media is very successful in selling baseball and making it sound like that.
But
that I agree with them. They have done they deserve credit for it. They marketed it so well that it's imprinted on the minds of cricket public at large. They've done it very well. That I have to give them credit.
I think I have been saying this thing time and again now, ever since we were done with the IPL. I was the one who said this thing here, that I really hope that this Indian cricket team puts an end to baseball. It is nothing more than a hype. They have failed to defeat India and Australia in tough conditions. They won obviously, against New Zealand, Pakistan. But what happened when Pakistan prepared those turning pitches? They did not really have an answer to it. The point here is that the only reason why I'm giving England a 60% chance is that Indian bowling is not offering any confidence whatsoever. And on this belter of a track, you can still have some kind of a scoreboard pressure. But remember, it's not 450, it's 350. And with this team, if the weather, holds up well, I see no reason why England cannot really do this.
Yeah,
so
I can say this is not 250, it's 350.
There are many ways to look at it. Yeah.
350 is 350.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
350 दौड़े.
Right. Sharan says, Nikhil bhai, I know that Indian team does go back to older players. Do you think we could have roped in Bhuvi for one or two tests in which
Bhuvi does not even
Bumrah
play for his
doesn't
state
play?
side now.
Yeah.
Red ball cricket.
Yeah,
How
Sharan.
do you rope him in?
And also I feel, I don't say it just for any batting or bowling. I think we're a cricket obsessed country. We are a robust cricketing country with a good infrastructure and a healthy supply line of various players. We should be looking at having fresher and newer players all the time, whether it's batting or whether it's bowling. That's a sign of a healthy cricketing infrastructure and a healthy cricketing country as such. So I don't think we really need to be in a situation where England are talking about going back to a Jimmy Anderson. No, we're good. We have enough players who play. I think we need to back some of them. Selection in terms of identifying the right people to play at right time, and then more than identifying and bringing them in, backing them and then turning them into players. Even in batting, like from Saurav Ganguly's time onwards, some young kids would come, they would be made, or even before that, players would be made. You would bring them, then you would nurture them, then you would make them. I was hearing an Irfan Pathan story. He was brought in and, you give him chances, allowed him to bowl from an under-19, became a player than to do well for you. You give him chances to go bat a bit higher. MS Dhoni came where he was supposed to bat very low on the order. Then somebody told him go and bat at number 3. So you made players like that. So similarly, you'll get young talents. You need to back them. You need to offer them good advice, provide them with the right environment where they don't feel insecure, and then you'll make players. Yeah, 100% you can. I think you have enough talent. You don't need to go back, I guess.
But I think if there's one bowler who could have been roped in, it's Umesh Yadav. I think he would have loved these conditions.
Yeah, sure, but then again, he has to be in the regular scheme of things.
Yeah, that's the point.
And there are, and see again, I'm just saying, how unfair is it on even someone like a Mukesh Kumar? You got him into the scheme of things. 1 or 2 not good test matches, and suddenly he's out. It's not fair. We talk about batters, right? Like you said, Sai Sudarshan. I agree. Only 1 match, you've got him. Now give him a run. Same way, bowlers also need to be looked after. I'm sure some of these bowlers didn't have a great start, but you back them and they produce. So that is the difference, I feel. Shubham Garg says England was street smart, but we can't expect India to be that. Why Indians do not have brains? Why are you saying that, Shubham? Indian do not want to win. Baseball has taken our mind. Acha. No, don't worry about baseball, yaar.
No, is it really a jibe at both me and Harshit that we don't want India to win?
No.
Because we both have picked England to win, na?
No, but
No,
he's
I don't
not
think
saying
so.
that.
I don't think he's saying that.
No, he didn't say that.
Deepthi says that seen baseball, fear in your panel just shows why Britishers were able to rule India with just getting swayed by baseball hype. We got to lead in the first
Yeah,
innings.
what is wrong with you guys? Yeah, you don't need spectacles or what?
I can't.
No, I think there is something wrong, with all due respect, with the people who are making such kind of comments, because whatever Harshit and I are speaking here, I think it's completely based on logic. You can agree, you can disagree with
So
us.
there's
That's
nothing
absolutely
wrong with
fine.
them.
Yeah, but the point is,
That's also a perspective. You have a
no, what
perspective.
they are basically trying to do is that they're just focusing on one thing. They're not focusing on the cricketing logic that I'm giving. The point is the Indian bowling attack showing any kind of confidence? No, it's a clear no. And if you still feel yes, then just back it up with any
I'm saying
stats that you
yes.
have.
They have Jasprit Bumrah. Don't they have Jasprit Bumrah? Are they going to be playing without Bumrah tomorrow? Is he injured? Is it going to be like Sydney that he's not going to come out to bowl?
But it could,
He'll be bowling, na?
as we were talking about in the BGT only.
You just now said you need 2-3 wickets. So your 2 wickets.
2-3 wickets have to come in very early. If that does not happen, then you're looking at an England win.
I picked Stokes being a crucial wicket. He cannot come in early. He'll come later only.
As we saw in the BGT, Jasprit Bumrah had an off day, and you see what happened, na?
Achha. Oh, so you're saying he'll have an off day tomorrow?
What if he does? See, Jasprit Bumrah,
What if Joe Root, Ben Stokes, and Harry Brook have an off day?
this match is all about ifs and buts right now. See, it's 24 hours. We'll be right here in this very room, and we'll be talking.
Okay, Ashish Dhar is saying 2022 test, England mostly batted on day 4 instead of day 5 in chases of 378. Day 5 pressure is different. India needs to be disciplined in bowling and fielding. Good point. But the only difference, Ashish, this time is that day 5 pitch is not behaving like day 5. It's a pretty good pitch to bat on. So day 4, day 5, it's not taking too much. And the pressure of scoreboard is there, whether you're batting on day 4 or 5 or not, it's there. I think it'll be a good contest. That's why I've only given a 5% difference between an India win and an England win. But I've put India slightly ahead. But that's not to say that England don't have a good enough chance. The new Trafford, is he your friend?
I don't know, but he's saying that...
Harshit's friend, I'm asking.
Because
he's Old Trafford, na?
the pictures definitely changed. Earlier, she used to have a picture of the proposed new Old Trafford now, but that's gone at the moment.
Sidji, you're talking like Shashwat.
I don't know whether
that's a compliment then.
No, I don't know whether I agree or disagree with it, but thank you for the reaction. That's the only thing I'll say.
Compliment, yeah.
Veteran.
I don't know whether it's a compliment
How
or
do you
not.
take
But
it? How do you
No,
take it?
I'm only taking it in a way that he's reacting to what I'm saying, and that's a good thing. That's a good
that is
thing.
good,
Yeah.
But I'm just saying
Because
that-
that's my job, nah.
No,
Then that's the
fine,
thing.
That's fine. But if I'm saying like today you made a point like Shashwat. Now what is that? Are you taking it as a compliment or you're taking it?
I don't know, whether I made a point like Shashwat. I was just being myself.
I'm saying if I've observed that and I've told you, I've commented. Now whether you'll take offense to it or you'll take it as a
No,
compliment.
I don't have any reaction to it, honestly. Yeah.
You're not taking offense or
No,
taking compliment.
it's just that, I'm saying thank
Okay.
you for the
Okay.
reaction. Yeah, that's it.
White noise.
fine.
Kiru Bakran, I think it's Ramachandran, if I'm not wrong, the full name. Rain predicted tomorrow, 70 to 80% chance from
That's
Leeds.
why they were not listening to me. I
No,
picked draw
but
as number
we
one.
have never taken the rain thing into consideration. And whenever we take it, you only say, we're not talking about rain here.
But that used to be, I'll give you that used to be, when it happened recently, it was like 10-20%. No. That used to be 10-20% chance. I used to be like, this is not worthy of taking into account. This is such a small number that even if it comes, it's not going to affect. So remove it and this talk. But now when it reaches 70-80%, then I can't ignore it. I cannot ignore it. 70-80% is
Big factor.
Big factor. Big factor.
I think this is a great question that Shubham Garg has
So,
asked.
but what is it 70-80%? First answer.
No, I think we saw that. No, it's about maybe it would have increased in the last few minutes or so. If that's the case, then we know what the final result is going to be.
I think the platform we were
Nil,
thinking
nil.
is very much a subcontinental or an Indian platform. Man's
No,
reporting,
AccuWeather was.
but reporting from the ground, we 2 pounds.
He's in the UK. Of course, he must have seen.
Yeah, so maybe he has access to
Very good.
a better source.
Kirumbakaram, thank you.
Thank you for local knowledge
Yeah.
sharing with us.
That's why I picked draw. They were not ready to take my.
Yeah, the good questions that feels Shubham Garg's got for us. It says
the
that if the sides are reversed, India are to chase 350 on last day against this England bowling side. How much percentage would you give to the Indian team? Would you bring?
Won't you
bring historical stats?
Answer. I'll tell you my answer. If it was the situation was reversed, I have given India a slight edge. I would have given England the edge because they had those many runs on board. India still had to chase it down. I would have, and can I tell you? I'll be honest. No. Indian mindset would have been same situation reversed. No chance India can win this match.
You're right.
No chance India
You're
can.
right.
They've lost it. They've won. But for England, we think no, there is a good chance they will win it. Baseball spooked you, or the English media is doing its job. I don't know.
Or the ghost
But
of Jimmy Anderson.
I'm telling you, if it was reverse, I would have given England a better chance. They've got the runs on the board. They're going to sit comfortably. They have to wait for you to make a mistake. You have to be disciplined, all right. But the mistake, you just wait. Be patient. They will make mistakes. So I would have put them. That's why I put in India slightly ahead to win.
But I would have given India the chance.
You would have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair point.
I
think
probably would.
for me, the logic.
Then what happened to your logic that India's bowling is so poor? Then why are you giving India any chance? You would have said England bowling is good. They'll dismiss India.
No, I'm
Okay,
saying
but
that I
also
would have
The
given
reason you're not giving India a chance now is
Yeah.
because you said India's bowling is poor.
minus Bumrah.
Yeah, I used to remind you of Bumrah.
Yeah.
You said they're bad. So now why are you giving chance when it's reversed?
I think
England's bowling is not poor according to you.
no. I'm saying that I would have given India the chance because
You would have made India favourite.
I am no.
I would have made India
if
favourite.
India
I would have made
if India chasing
favourite,
350.
But I wouldn't have been as bullish.
What now?
I wouldn't have been as
Allow me
bullish
to
about
finish.
India as
Then
I
you
am
can
with
agree or
England.
disagree with me. That's fine. My only point is I'm going by the same logic here. The pitch, it does not really have any demons. Why can't you score 350?
But that wasn't your only logic, sir. Your logic was the reason I'm saying is
that's
is
what
not
we
because
say
I'm
things
spooked
upon.
of baseball, but because India has a poor bowling lineup. Fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
but
now
also the pitch conditions we discussed. Who said that we did not really discuss it?
Reversed. Now poor bowling lineup is out. Then why are you giving them a chance?
Because of the pitch conditions, you have multiple logics to discuss something, and that's what I'm pitching. Yeah.
Okay.
I would have gone for an India win too, but I wouldn't have been as bullish as I am about an England win.
That's what.
So it's like if I'm
You are
giving-
Old Trafford. You are.
if I'm
Your
giving-
heart is in Manchester.
there it is.
But your team is.
Down in the dumps.
There also it is.
Rahul Java. India is still ahead, but pathetic batting from Karun Nair. I know he will play one more test. One more.
Buy one more test, yaar. 2, 3. Why not?
But
Persist.
Jurel is far better batter. Pathetic game century. See, Jurel is better than I had said from long ago. We had picked
Better
him.
than Karun.
I would.
I think he's making that.
I would go so far as to say yes, because I'll tell you why. He was ahead of him anyway. He was playing your test matches. He would only going out when you really could not accommodate him. Then suddenly to bring a Sai Sudarshan and a Karun Nair from outside and make them jump over a Jurel was wrong.
See, I will again
That was
go back.
wrong.
Okay.
And same ditto for Sarfraz. Both of them were there in the scheme of things. Suddenly you've got two people and you've leapfrogged them and they're out without really given a fair run or a chance to succeed or fail. So I think on both counts, to bring both of them and leapfrog compared to a few players that were already in the scheme of things is wrong. Yeah. It's completely wrong.
I'd again like to remind our family members of the discussion we had here when we were making the Indian 11, and we knew this is not going to be how India will go ahead and pick their 11. But have Karun Nair. Where did he score that 200 when he was batting at number 3? Has he batted lesser than 4? He's not. You're making bat at 6 now. Where did we place Jurel? Because of the ability that all of us in our individual analytical capacity thought that he deserved a place. Where did we put him? 6, 7. What's happening right now? He's not there in the squad only. But because the team felt there was greater faith that they had in Sai Sudarshan.
Okay. Shubham Gar says, Nikhil sir, if we give you feedback, you made a point like Shashwat, what would be your reaction? Same question for Harshit also. Sidji already deflected it.
I don't think so. I did it. I don't think so.
No, you deflected it. I asked you, do you take it as a compliment or do you take it as an offense?
I'm just saying that what I do here
I
is
have reacted to you. Thank me for my
Yeah,
reaction.
that's
Fine.
the thing.
Now I want to know. You thanked me. Fine. Now
nothing
I want to know.
nothing more, nothing less.
That's a deflection. 100% deflection.
It's
like saying, are you sir going to be chief minister? I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm just thanking you for your question. It's the same thing
Learning
that
from
politicians do.
Learning from Thala.
Okay, but I will not deflect. Shubham has asked, will you take? I'll take it as a compliment. Why not? Yeah.
Great.
Each of us here who sit here try to make points. Sometimes you like them, sometimes you dislike them, and I'm going to back my colleague. Yeah. If you say I've made a point like him, I'll take it as a compliment. Why not?
I'm doing the same.
Yeah. Done.
The only time I won't take that as a compliment is when him and I are in the same camp supporting DC.
Karthik K from the US is saying Prasidh Siraj economy tomorrow will be good per T20 standard. See these two guys, how much fun they are having. They want England to win so much. They were laughing at when jokes are made on Indian bowling.
I'm just looking at how.
One guy is Manchester, one is London.
I'm honestly telling you that it's on a generator mode that I am on. I'm in currently.
What I hope for? I give you
Been
wishes.
awake from 10 a.m.
If I gave you wishes about 2 wickets today, I will change that. I want to change my wish. I don't want 2 wickets. I want Siraj and Prasidh Krishna to pick 3 wickets apiece. That's my wish. 3 wickets apiece.
Great if that
for
happens.
Prasidh. Then I will sit here and I will mock these 2 baseball lovers.
No lovers at all.
Come on, Siraj and Prasidh. Do it for me. The New Trafford is back. He says, Sidji, you said to give cricketing reasons. People in comments, including me, will but can't do it in a super chat. So peace. Okay. Peace.
See,
But New Trafford.
no, I have one thing to say actually. I think it's not about having any confrontation. It's not about having anything, relating to one man-to-man confrontation or a fight or something like that, destruction, whatever the words you use.
Yeah, those are great words, New Trafford.
We all can agree to disagree. That's fine. If you don't agree with me, there's nothing wrong with it. The point here, if there's something that I've learned by working here, is that you need to have those constructive discussions. You need to have those layered discussions, multiple perspectives, and that's absolutely fine if you do not agree with me. You can consider that point completely, I don't know whether I'm allowed to use this word or not, but bullshit. But I'm at least making a point that is based on some kind of...
You're not allowed to use that
yeah.
No, but well done. I think Siddharth summed it up very well. That's a good thing. That's what we believe in. And a lot of time, people sometimes take it. There are so many times we have disagreement. We have screaming matches as well. And you know, those screaming matches are not because we hate each other's guts. Those screaming matches mean that we are also passionate about the sport.
Exactly.
And we're so
Yeah.
passionate about the point that we want to make is that we stick by what we believe in. So it's got nothing to do with, because sometimes people think that, oh, we are fighting and this guy is, you know, saying this, that guy snubbing this. We are passionate about it. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of the sport. There are so many different ways of looking at it. And there's no one person, even the person who's played 100 test matches and somebody who's not played any can sometimes make a much more valid point. Someone who's never even lifted a bat but is a keen observer of the game can make a very valid point.
Yeah,
on the
true.
outside. So that's the beauty of sport, I guess, and cricket in particular. Okay, we've got a segment, Shubham. Okay, let's go, Shivam. We've got Shivam Giri. Shivam Giri, let's go. We've got a special segment of memes that our producer, who claims rights to it, named it after himself. Copyright. Not the meme content, but the segment name.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. First one is Gandhiji taught us to show the other cheek. Pant chose to slap the British twice at the same. Very mean. I don't like
Yeah,
this.
very
This
mean.
slapping business I don't like. There's nobody who's slapping anyone. You can use better
Slapping,
words. This is not
destroy,
the kind of humor
destruction.
that I appreciate and I like. Okay. Visionary care. That's true. That one was a dropped catch. I mean, the catch didn't go. He had skied it and it landed in no man's land. And the other is the one he got
Inside
an
edge.
inside edge too. And this Haath Jod Ke was the first innings.
Yes.
Rishabh Pant in IPL 269, in Test 252 in one match.
Even more than what he got in BGT.
Ah,
Scored about 240.
240 in the entire
Yeah.
BGT. Already got 252.
That was, I think he played all.
I think he's having on current form, he's having a 700 plus series. You never know.
700 plus series to yaar.
Then, like, Jaiswal was on the brink.
Sunny Gavaskar had.
Kohli had a 693 in Australia too. Yeah.
KL Rahul before playing a gritty innings today. Acha.
Masuli bhai.
That's good, yeah. Did pranam to the two walls of Indian cricket
Yeah.
in Rahul Dravid and Chetupi.
Shea Pujara, though, he could have just gone and done this
In
the
real.
form box only.
Close by. May have done it only.
Yeah.
हाँ आज हमारा सर्कल
में
आजा हमारे सर्कल में आजा इंग्लैंड सीरीज खत्म होते ही गौती भाई अपने आप भेज देंगे
That's kind of mean.
Oh. अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा
Circle में.
अरे you never know, maybe who knows, day 5 belongs to him,
Yeah.
then which circle will you call him in?
But that rough, again, if you even have him bowl from the other end, there are a couple of batters he could target.
हाँ लगता है साई भाई भी अपना समर वेकेशन का होमवर्क कर रहा है
Yeah.
अच्छा लगता है साई भाई भी अपने समर
Making
वेकेशन
some
from
notes yesterday.
yesterday
That whole
There was a-
ball visualization that he was doing, and he
Ah.
was taking some notes as well.
Ah.
And this, I think, goes back to Rahul Dravid when we saw him with that notebook of whatever that he had, and it was said that he is doing Vaibhav Suryavanshi's homework. So yeah, century to century hoti hai janab.
अच्छा
Mia bhai.
this was Siraj giving away 100 runs, picking up 1 wicket. That,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Today, yaar, Shivam, nothing that's gotten us in splits yet.
he must be thinking about other girls. Shardul with ball, 6 overs, 38 runs, no wicket with bat, 5 after 20. इससे अच्छा कुलदीप को ले लेते हैं. हाँ, that is true. You should have.
He still has a day to turn things around.
How will he'll get 3 overs to
Yeah.
bowl, then how can he turn anything
2
around?
spells.
For that they need to give him some overs.
Oh, that's
Sagar is comparing a Tesla with
England's tailenders, India's tailenders. You can compare it to the Mahindra copy of this. Na?
Yeah.
B6.
Which somebody sent me a video stranded on some near Manali or somewhere. Yeah. Stranded.
But it's done.
Engine stop working.
This is a good one. सुनील गावस्कर टू ऋषभ पंत, मैं तो तुझे स्टूपिड समझता था, तू तो सेंसिबल निकला रे, सुपर्ब निकला रे.
This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Actually, done his face as well. Replaced Paresh Rawal with Sunny ji. Okay, Deepthi says, on what sample size Arshdeep is being advocated on these flat tracks over Akashdeep? Does Arshdeep have the bowling muscle for long multiple spells? No, he doesn't, but what he has is experience of playing county cricket for Kent. What he also has is promise that he showed in the IPL. He was able to make the ball move, and that time it was the white ball. So we just
he can swing it both ways now, and even he did it in county cricket.
You know, I do see again. I hope he has a great time and he does very well. But I'm saying let's not get too bullish before we see something.
Yeah, true.
It's just as we, you know, like Siraj and Prasidh are bad. Remove them. Bring on Arshdeep. So
that's also like walking into the unknown.
yeah, it's like
We
the
don't
same
know
thing. No. Oh, Sai Sudarshan, outstanding IPL. He will save Test cricket and the batting and bring him on. It's that sort of a approach.
No, but you're only backing Arshdeep for the fact that you've seen him now be given the new ball even when he plays for India in T20s. He's no longer just a death bowler.
I agree,
He's
but
swinging the ball.
But I'm saying different formats.
Agreed.
Suddenly you can't expect
You
that
don't
he's
expect-
the panacea for all your problems.
No, he's
just
not the panacea. I totally agree. But see, he also brings that left arm mobility as well, which we were talking about. And oftentimes it is, it works against right armers. So right-handed batters. So who's to say that it can't be of advantage to you?
No, maybe he comes in and has a match-winning performance. Who knows?
Or
But
maybe
I'm
he
just
doesn't.
saying, let's not get overexcited that these guys who are there are bad. As I said, the best player in the Indian team and the one that is sitting on the bench.
Exactly.
Because they are the greatest batters and bowlers because we want them. The ones who are not performing should be
True.
out. But it doesn't work like that. So, chalo, on that note, we're going to take your leave. Tomorrow is another day. First session crucial coming up. One important session.
Three crucial sessions
Will that
coming up.
tell us?
Let me put it down like that. 3 crucial sessions coming up in this test match. Last 3 of those. Join us.
Yeah, but on a serious note, you've been a kind and a very generous audience who's given us company throughout this test match. We have one more day to go and we're building up to the climax and hope it'll be a good one. As I said, it's a great advert for test cricket. The fact that we're sitting ahead of day 5 with all results possible, exciting finish on our card. So we look forward to your company tomorrow. We'll be live from the post-lunch session or the lunch break onwards, and from there on till the time the test match gets over, we'll be there live with you. So look forward to your company. Have a good Monday night, whatever is left of it, Tuesday morning. We'll see you today, little later.
Matter of hours.
Bye bye, good night or good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the
you
world
are. Just
you're
take
watching
good
us.
care of yourselves, and since we are in India, we'll do a regular dinner and tell our Indian viewers a good Nandri, good night, Shubhratri, Shabba Khair, to eat your vegetables in the morning. Don't trouble your mother at night or in the morning, but come back tomorrow. Bye bye.